All right, y'all. Welcome back to VisionarySanctum. And we're back after a long hiatus. So that's what I'm titling this episode is the hiatus. With this time that has passed by, I've gotten an influx of new inspiration about how I want to go about life and art and this podcast. So here we are on the visual side in a different part of my apartment. I'm going to call this the cozy corner. I got blankets and shit and I'm cozy. A bitch is cozy as fuck, so we love that. So let's go ahead and get started. I decided I'm feeling inspired to record right now, so that is what we are doing. You may hear a bit of rain in the background because it is coming down really hard for January, but we will just go ahead and say that it's part of our cozy vibe is the rain in the background. Okay, so let's start with our check-in. Kind of like I said, I'm feeling good and refreshed, but there was something that happened to me at the very beginning of the year. There was a company that I saw, and the name of this company was the same name of somebody who used to be a friend of mine, and we were pretty close once upon a time. And that was the only friend I had when I first moved out here to Chicago. Eventually, we stopped talking, we've parted ways, and it was important to me that moving forward that I was going to be very intentional about the types of relationships that I held and that they were beautiful, reciprocal bonds. So after that point, this is in the middle of 2024. I was working a lot, struggling a lot financially, and of course, wasn't really able to go out and make friends like that. It was a little bit hard to move around when I'm stressed about money, or sometimes, things just cost. So going toward that end of the year, starting a new job, finally making some coins and ready to get myself back out there. Now that I'm feeling more comfortable, I started off 2025 on a better foot financially, but still feeling a little lonely and lost, and hoping to bring in friendships that were warm and fulfilling for me after a pattern of so many people who were pretty avoidant. Since then, I have come around one full year, beginning of 2026. This person comes up, and I realized New Year's Day is also that person's birthday. So it's like a annual cycle for them. But it also marked an annual cycle for me, that the top of 2026 is so much different in terms of social life, relationships, and community, which I keep talking about over and over again. I know y'all probably this bitch community, but this beautiful, vibrant community that I have built brick by brick. And I'm so excited to further expand and continue to enjoy the community that I built throughout 2025. Major deal, because prior to moving to Chicago, COVID happened halfway through my college experience. So the world is shut down. And then after that, not really necessarily having a ton of childhood friends, and trying to be social and as an adult, but everything around me is just but is closed. So it just made it really difficult, and it caused a really extended lonely period. So to mark that as officially over and going into the year feeling fulfilled in that area of my life is really, really significant. And we will talk about more later on in this podcast about what we're going to do with community more and more on my end of actually organizing rather than being the person that shows up. So 2026 for me, I'm going to call the theme IRL. And again, we'll get more into why we're calling it IRL. And it's very, very exciting. All right. So congratulations to me on this beautiful annual cycle, starting a cycle of abundance. Yeah. And happy birthday to that person somewhere, I guess. Let's get into the topics. We'll go over some themes of what I experienced since the last time I filmed, which was mid-November. And that is passion and curiosity. some of the thoughts that I had while I was working, because even though I was not doing as much for myself on the creative front or business, I had a ton of hours and I am very isolated at my job. So we'll get into some of those fun thoughts. I also want to talk about that brain fog after the shifts were over and the holidays came, like Christmas and New Year's. What was the space that I wanted to shed in order to come into the new year strong? Because I was ready to hit the ground running, but a girl was still a little foggy and sleepy and not sure where to begin. We'll talk about events, so that plays into our IRL thing, and what it means to create opportunity for yourself. And then we'll end with the word. Let's get started. Passion and curiosity is a theme that had come up for me while I had that period of isolation at work. Just a lot of time to myself in general throughout the entire month of December. I felt like I spent so much time for 2025 just trying to push myself to be consistent. I had this concept of what was going to be a podcast at the beginning of the year, and I didn't really start posting until May, and then I was on it and then I was off it. So I was consistently inconsistent. Then I got into the swing of things and really started to show up for myself and prove to myself that I could be really, really consistent and hit the ground running. So I started to increase volume, but I was making my turnaround times really tight. I was just so relieved to finally get the editing done. I'm just throwing stuff out there. And it's like, okay, I get it. We get it. It's consistent, but I want the quality to remain. And I want the passion. And I'm like, well, I was so excited about doing all this podcasting before and connecting with community and making friends and starting documentaries and stuff like that. I'm doing it all. Like, why am I starting to lose the connection to what I said I wanted to do? And it was because I became so focused on consistency, it started turning into something about productivity. And I have to remind myself that, yes, I would love to live off of my experience and my my creations. But even with that being said, I still need to have some passion behind it. It is art. I am an artiste. I'm a creative, and I want to responsibly tell a story, responsibly, live and have a roof over my head, and also still have the fun, the joy, that childlike joy and discovery behind those things. So that's something else that I'm prioritizing since I've already checked off that box of consistency. So moving forward with the podcast, the goal is just 2 episodes a month. There will not be a specific day. It won't be like a Tuesday or Wednesday anymore. It will not be bi-weekly. We're doing 2 a month. The documentaries, I'm increasing the turnaround time on that. I want to give even better quality stories, more depth, more environmental stuff. I have more equipment to make shooting in the field more of a robust, fun experience. And I'm very excited about that. And I think with taking time on the documentaries, with the fun people that I meet, it'll become even more of a passion project. I started shooting some stuff recently of someone you'll see coming up soon. And I really just enjoyed the intimacy of one camera. And I got a cool microphone to make environmental sound better. And it's also kind of some insight to my life as well, not just the person. And I love the idea of leaving behind an archive of all of these amazing people that I've experienced, and to leave behind this archive through my personal eye. So we're keeping the passion and the joy and the spark. And I definitely felt that spark when I started filming last night. Something else that had come up during the long break, I began to think a little bit more deeply about the person that I am and how my art is a reflection of me. And the truth is, I'm a very curious and inquisitive person naturally. And it comes up how do I get myself in these situations where I'm doing short documentaries on people that I've met and I don't necessarily know the best? And it springs from those conversations, and I've had some of those conversations prior to filming this, being in intimate gatherings, sitting next to someone but most of the time somebody just sitting next to me and they just start talking, asking those pressing questions about their life and what they do and what they love and who they love. And it's like I think it's something on my energy where people just feel really comfortable sharing these very intimate pieces of themselves and their lives. And next thing you know, they're pulling out their phone and showing me pictures and all that stuff. And I want for what I create in general to embody that, whether it's a podcast interview, whether it's a short doc, whether it is an event that I create, because like I said, the theme is IRL. So I'll be doing more gatherings and stuff in person and creating those beautiful experiences that I have for others. I think the other piece of passion and connection is while I was working all of those shifts, it was hitting me. I'm never in that place 40 plus hours a week because it's a part-time job. So I'm like part-time, like freelance / this gig. But for the holiday season, those hours really, really picked up a lot. And it was beating me down. It was killing my spirit. I'm like, girl, I was just here less than 12 hours ago. I was just here 10 hours ago. I got to wake up at this time and I got to leave at this time because it takes me this much time on, whatever way of transportation I'm using that day, whether it be drive, Uber, public transit, like whatever, right? I have to do all that. And it was really consuming. And then I'm spending this large amount of time in this space and it's starting to feel like a little bit of a time warp, like back in this again, back in here again, back in here again, back in here again. And I was kind of creating that pattern for myself of this constant like go, do with the lacking of the passion, but more so routine on myself. And I'm like, bro, I can't live like this. I just can't do this. So as soon as I have my time open back up and for me to continue to pursue my own projects, I need to do something that's fulfilling. Something else that I had pushed for post-COVID, trying to get a job after graduating, all that stuff, was really, really difficult. And I'm like, bro, if I am having this hard of a time getting up to do the same monotonous thing and I'm over it, I'm over this environment sometimes. While I was doing that routine over and over again, I was like, I really, really wanted this corporate role, knowing I don't like corporate culture, knowing that I don't want to do the same exact thing every day for 40 hours a week and go to the same environment, knowing I don't like that routine, knowing that it does wear me down, knowing that it does kill my inspiration. Maybe this is a dream or a thought that I just need to completely release and let go. I think I've talked about unorthodox lifestyles before on here and what it means to live a life of the road less traveled. And that is something that has definitely been a theme with me, the fool's journey on the road less traveled. And being in full acceptance of that while doing this very routine thing just made me completely let go of this whole corporate situation. I would love to work. I'm down to work. I'm down to make some money. I'm down to even have some corporate contracts. But I'm thinking that's what I'm leaning toward is just contract, gig work, consulting, stuff like that, and really using this brain power. So I'm figuring out how to package all of those things, and I'm at that point. And during this time of reflection and even speaking about these things out loud right now, it's been such a cool feeling to be like, I'm at this point, because I was so stuck at the point of not starting. Now that I'm in it and I'm like, how do I elevate? And talking about doing things for passion and like already being in it, like, okay, it's time to really hit the pavement and make this shit legit. It's like, I didn't think I would get here, but like, damn, a bitch is here. That's crazy. Okay. Outside of those fun thoughts, transitioning out of the shifts and that time of reflection and going into the holidays and coming back to Chicago after visiting the fam, I was experiencing a lot of brain fog. I realized this brain fog was coming from some unaddressed fear that was coming up in the form of like a wall or what felt like a energetic kind of wall, kind of in the way that I just described, is like I didn't think I would get here, or I spent so much time trying to start, like being in it. What do I do next? Has been a little uncomfortable, and I wasn't feeling this joy. I wasn't sitting here smiling and talking about how excited I am in the way that now I was like, like kind of frozen a little bit, like I'm in it, like what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And it wasn't a question of what do I need to do or not. I don't know. I do know what I want to do. I do know how I would like to go about it. It was just a fear of failure. Will people show up? Will other folks be interested in this? Will this work out for me? You know, these kinds of things. And I decided, hey, I'm going to just accept that these feelings will not go away. These fears are not going to go away. This discomfort, this anxiety is not going to go away, at least not right now at this point. And that I'm going to continue to take one step forward in front of the other and do so uncomfortable. And who knows, along the way, I might become comfy. It's just new territory, new uncharted waters, and it is okay to do it anyway. And as soon as I did that, girl, that brain fog, she just, whoop, the skies cleared, girl. And I was ready and just feeling good and feeling confident. It releasing that block allowed in new energy, a new level of confidence that when I enter a room in a space, I'm just like, hello, it's me, like, or whatever Cardi said. But that's how I feel. I just feel really good, really happy, and just really comfortable. Am I everywhere that I want to be right now? No, but like, I'm the shit. Like, I'm hot right now. I don't know. It's just great. And I feel unstoppable. Like I can do anything. Like, yeah, difficult things happen. Yes, there's roadblocks. Yeah, walls and things come up, but I can break through. I can bust them bitches down. Some walls is gonna be harder than others, but it's okay. And I feel much lighter, even with the nerves, after having that point of acceptance. And going with the clearing of the fog means it's time to address what's next and what I would like to do. And as I mentioned, IRL is the theme. And so IRL is next. I am going to get into community building. I will figure out the timing and all that with the podcast. So if you're a listener and you are in Chicago, the Chicagoland area, you can come out and support if the podcast will coincide with shows, events, things like that. But very, very nervous about it because I've never tried to gather people in real life. I've had like a smaller birthday party over the past whatever years, but I haven't tried to invite people like this, and I haven't known this many people like this. And also, I was thinking about earlier, like, do I need to charge? Should I just accept that I'm going to pay for everything and then, show people that there's value? Do I need to do, it's been a whole thing, and that's where my nerves has been at. But damn it, I'm ready. I am ready. Part of the reason I also felt nerves about establishing myself in real life is it's not behind the screen. It's not me talking into this microphone and posting it online, and it's a bunch of people seeing it, interacting with my work that I don't know. Or this is kind of like a vulnerable session, and I'm sitting here alone doing this session, talking to you all, and then somebody else views it. It feels almost kind of passive for me a little bit. But bringing these conversations to community spaces, being the one to curate the community space, being the one to show off other people's work and art, it just increases the stakes of the situation for me. That's how it feels. Everything is it's very much more intense because it's IRL. It's in real life. It's in your face. These are live human beings. This is contact with all types of energy, but this is also very valuable. I want to establish myself. I want to do great work in the world when it comes to art and connecting folks. And it will also be important for me, because we do live in a capitalist society, girl, financially, to make sure that I'm establishing myself in real life and also showing what I can do and building value as well. So I can be contracted here, there, or what I really, really want is for folks to see the type of work that I do and open up and provide the space and collaborate on that front. That's what I really want, is to collaborate with other entrepreneurs, business owners, things like that. So if y'all who are listening are interested in collaborating in any way, shape, or form, of course, reach out to me and let me know. I'll also do some calls for that on social media. So make sure that you are following me on VisionarySanctum on Instagram. So something I also thought about, in addition to creating events in real life, is building a portfolio or creating experiences where I can add to my portfolio instead of spending so much time seeking opportunity. Now, I think seeking opportunity the traditional way, applying, is just the way that it goes for majority of us listening to the podcast. That's just the reality of the world we live in, not knocking that. And my personal experience, it has not fucking worked. So I have pivoted to living life the way that I want to do. Economy so rough, I follow my dreams type shit is what we're on right now. And the extensive amount of hours I've spent in applying for a job, that energy has now moved to building a life of the work that I want to do and building my value that way so folks can come to me. I also like the idea that I can create an event and I'm potentially bringing opportunity for myself and other creatives in the room to make magic happen instead of having to be the one to constantly seek it. I'm always going to other people's events. I'm always connecting. I'm always showing love and interacting with the work because I genuinely love it. So it's easy. And people know that I am a genuine person. I always have genuine things to say about the type of stuff that they do because it's real and it comes from the heart. And so being the one who's now in the center and is attracting the people, I think that will add to the vibrancy of my life. I also think it's something that we're not taught to do. We're taught to go out and get it. We're taught to spend all of our time begging for opportunity because, especially financially, because we need it. People are getting paid so little and life expenses is so high. You have to be practically on your knees to freaking survive. So I'm very grateful to be in a unique situation to kind of finesse this outside of the system. And if you will, this is also my active resistance, is bringing the opportunity, the connections, the life to me rather than constantly having to run to get it. Next up is some fuck you money. We don't really have that because sometimes the money be fucking me. But that will be our next step as far as an active resistance on that front with creating opportunity. The reason attracting opportunity and by building what I want and building out that important portfolio of work to get where I need to go to build a career that I want came up is because I spoke to someone that did not know that well. And it's another one of those fun, intimate conversations that I'm having with someone. And they were talking to me about their film career or like photography and stuff like that. Beautiful work, great story, very vibrant, very cool person. I kind of asked a couple questions here and there, but they were pouring out all the information and they were a little bit like, is this too much? But like, no, it's okay. Share. And they said some stuff that really hit home about opportunity and doing your own work, like showing me all this incredible work and them saying, hey, like, this is the type of contract work and the gigs that I get, but these are not necessarily my concepts. I really want to do more work where it is my own personal concept, but I'm out here doing gigs for other people. I love the work that I do. I love the photography. I love filmmaking. I love collaborating with friends. Like, that's really passionate, but I wish I had a little bit more time or that motivation to do what I want to do. And connecting it back to the capitalist experience that I brought up earlier, it is a very difficult situation that all of us are put in as creatives, as U.S. citizens, if you will, this space where it's like, hey, I want to do this. I want to create. I want to do these types of events. I want to make this type of art. I want to connect with these type of people. But damn, these bills is calling. The bills is high. The bills is real motherfucking high. Like, stressful high. And of course you want to be the person to say, I want to do these concepts. But then on the other side of the sword, it is that thing of, it is also a blessing to be booked and busy and doing gigs and contract work, even if it's not necessarily your specific concept. It's also a blessing to be able to have the skill to execute other folks' vision as well. But it's kind of like, well, when do I get to my own? And think that was a very powerful conversation to have, because it's something that I think we all think about. There's somebody else I know who's a photographer, and I had spoken to him very briefly about this a couple years ago at this point, and he was telling me about all the really fun artistic shit that he loved to do and that he had such a passion for. But he was like, the bills keep calling. Like, it's just really, really expensive to live and be and exist right now. So here I am doing real estate photography, and that was a consistent gig with consistent funds, and it was reliable. It did not have the passion behind it, taking pictures of apartments and houses, but at least he had the money to fund living life that is more comfortable, and it gave that peace of mind. So my hope for myself with this fun IRL journey is that I will figure out how to have some sort of balance, because those are two heavy contrasting things to really have to think about and balance as a creative. And I think it's a very relatable experience, and we'll see how it goes. Fingers crossed. I think it'll go well. But all that to say, let's close out with our word and the rain crashing down. Do it scared, nervous, and uncomfortable. As long as you know it's something that you want to pursue, those feelings are much better than longing and regret. Courage does not exist without those emotions. Courage is the audacity to move forward in spite of. And that is what I wish for all of you. A courageous and audacious 2026. In numerology, this is the year of 1. You are the one, as long as you believe it. All right, y'all. Remember that you are the one. And if you don't know in numerology, you put the numbers together. So 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 6 is 10, 1 plus 0 is 1. So the year of 1 is very significant for individuals out here trying to make it happen for themselves, or are in a period of transition for greater on an internal type of journey. And so I'm wishing the best for all of you, and I'm very excited to show off the amazing things that Visionary Sanctum has coming IRL. All right, bye.